In today's video, I want to talk to you about how do you break this economic cycle that perpetuates poverty in most people's lives. I mean, most people are in an economic cycle that perpetuates poverty, meaning that they work, they hustle, they grind, they pray, they cross their fingers, they hope, they scrap it out, and they just can't seem to get ahead economically, even when they have the best intentions. Maybe I'm talking about you, but guess what? There's an economic cycle that has been created by what we may refer to as the system, but really this economic cycle that perpetuates poverty has been built by people who have made the decision to control the narrative of their economic lives. See, whether you're black or white or brown or yellow or blue or purple, all of those colors are tied to someone who's intentional about the color green. I'm talking about money, okay? So while we're fighting and fussing and voicing our opinions about who's right or who's wrong politically, who's good, who's bad culturally, who's smart and who's dumb educationally, there are certain people who are intentional about controlling that color green economically. And until you and I, well, not me, because I have already, until you make the conscious decision to control the economic narrative of your life, it's going to be very hard for you to break out of that economic cycle that perpetuates poverty. Now, how does this economic cycle perpetuate poverty? And once I explain to you how it perpetuates poverty, I'm going to simultaneously show you how to break out of this doggone cycle. So how does this economic cycle perpetuate poverty? Well, it starts by a system, economic system, that has been created. It exists today all around the world, definitely here in the United States of America. But this economic system that has been built, it is built around this idea to democratize and to standardize certain beliefs. Okay? So when you democratize a certain set of beliefs about money, about freedom, about the American dream. These are all beliefs that have been created by someone who just made the decision to create them, okay? And their decision to create them was reinforced by the decision to find enough people who would support these ideas and who would back these ideas to democratize them. So when you democratize something, it's like living in the United States of America. We democratize things. So that means we want to get a general consensus. We want to get unanimous votes, okay? And when we get enough votes, we've democratized something. And then once you democratize something, you standardize it. So now here is the standard. So think about some of the economic principles you live by, values you live by. Think about some of the economic beliefs we have. You know, money doesn't grow on trees. There are people who are worse than you in other countries. A penny saved is a penny earned. These are all beliefs, certain values and views that have been democratized and standardized. Here's some other beliefs. If you work hard enough, you can make it. If you give yourself enough time, you can get to where you go. A lot of this stuff ain't true. It just ain't true, okay? If you just leave it in the hands of God, this is more theological, and just let God work it all out for you, when the truth is, God has put the power in you to work it out so he can work through you, not for you. Thought that would just be a great side note for those of you that are more theologically inclined and more spiritual. I am a preacher, so I got to throw some scriptures in there. But my point is this. They have a goal to democratize. They have a goal to standardize. And in order for them to perpetuate what has been democratized and standardized. They have to figure out a way to automate what has been democratized and standardized. And so they do this by, board went out. We'll wait for my vibe to come back. I'm actually working on this vibe. I'm used to working on my my jam board, and so this is a new way of using it, but it seems to be pretty cool. Some of my most recent videos I've used this. So how do you perpetuate this? Well, you need aggregators, right? Then you need allocators. Then you need operators. Now, what I'm talking may seem to be like high-level stuff, but it's only high-level stuff to people who have allowed the system economically to shut their brains off, okay? I've been one of those people, so I know you could just be walking around zombied out economically, just trying to figure out, man, why I can't make it up? Why I can't come up? Why I can't get ahead? Well, this is intentional. It ain't just happenstance, okay? So the aggregators are your retirement custodians. The aggregators are the local banks, pension fund custodians. The aggregators are all of the people who are in a position to gather your money. Think about how frequently we as a society give our money to banks, to pension funds, to retirement accounts, to investment advisors. We do it every pay period. Literally every day of every week, of every bi-week, of every month, of every year, people are just pushing all of their money to these aggregators. They're aggregators. Now, when they get this money, of course, they got to get their cut. There's a percentage of that dollar you give to the aggregator that they're going to get to be aggregators. Why are they aggregators? This is how I'm simultaneously showing you the way to get out of this cycle that you're in. This cycle perpetuates poverty. This is one of the reasons why most people, 99.9% of the people, can't get ahead. Because instead of you taking the responsibility of being an aggregator, you've given that responsibility to the bank because you trust the digits on your phone based on your account more than you do yourself. Okay? So the aggregators get their percentage, and then when they gather all this, they ain't holding it. It's just a number, a digit on your phone, on your app, on your dashboard. But they're going to distribute this to the allocators. These are the hedge funds. These are the private equity groups. These are the investment, asset management companies, the Wall Street firms. They're the allocators. And so now when they get your money from the aggregators, guess what they have to do? They got to get their cut. Off the same dollar, they're going to get their cut. And then once they galvanize all of this money as allocators, it is their job to allocate it. They're going to deploy it, distribute it, allocate it to operators. These operators represent investors, those who have boots on the ground, who are running apartment complexes, who are running businesses, all of whom you're giving not just the initial money you gave to the aggregators to, they're getting your money, but they're also getting the dollars that you spend on a day-to-day basis. So how do you break this cycle? You break the cycle here by taking responsibility to become the aggregator yourself. Take control of the narrative of your life. Does that mean you want to close all your bank accounts? You want to shut down your retirement accounts? No. What it means is, first, you want to educate yourself. You are central to all the success and or all the failure you experience economically. I am responsible for me. And so education is critical. What are you educating yourself about? You're educating yourself how to make money, how to manage money, how to multiply money. Okay? Maybe you've already figured out how to make it. You have a job, you have a side hustle, you're a 1099 contractor, multi-level marketer, you're an entrepreneur, you're a small business owner, you're a minister, you have a nonprofit, whatever the things are that you do to make money. You still have to become the aggregator, because instead of you putting your money in the banks to save, you put your money in the banks to store so that you can score as an allocator. Where can I allocate this money? Now, of course, in our communities, we're talking about mentorship communities, our small local business communities or ministry communities. We have become our own aggregators. We've become our own allocators. We've become our own operators, and we have created ecosystems made up of these three critical points. But we're made up of those of us who have educated ourselves, and we took that education and we applied that education to our lives. And the businesses and the entities and the operations that facilitate these 3 points are owned by us. So now we control the narrative of our lives. Hence, we break. We break this perpetual cycle of poverty, and we give ourselves an opportunity to get ahead. If this went over your head, you need to go back and rewatch it, because I can promise you this: once you open your eyes up to what's been happening for decades, probably centuries, not just here in the United States of America, but around the world, through systems and infrastructures. Once you get a revelation of that and open your eyes, you're going to realize that, wow, every time I go to work and get a paycheck, Uncle Sam, he going to get his, which, by the way, if you're educated as an aggregator, that's not going to be the case, because you're going to know how to strategically minimize those taxes, maximize profits, and give him what's left after you aggregate, allocate, and operate. You see? So Uncle Sam gets his federal taxes, state taxes, and then you start pushing money to the 401k, the 403b, whatever type of pension or retirement fund you have. What you're doing is saying, yeah, I don't want to be responsible for my own destiny. Nah, I'll put my responsibility in the hands of another aggregator who could think for me, hoping that in 30 or 40 years, they would have done right by me to see to it that the box of my retirement and after work years is checked. It ain't happening. It's failed miserably over and over again. And so you're going to have to take responsibility of that. And if there's anything my team and I can do to help you, this is what we do. We continue to perpetuate success, freedom in our lives and in the lives of people that we come into contact with. And this video is just a snippet of the things that you can learn and educate yourself on and take action on to change and transform your life and your family's life and your legacy. I'll see you in the next video.